Lions radio station.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Friday, September 26th, 2025. Big weekend of sports coming up. We'll find out if the Yankees win the American League East. We'll find out if the Mets get into the playoffs. Both good nights for them yesterday. Will Jackson Dart change the fortunes of the New York Giants and maybe save the job of Coach Brian Daboll? They'll be playing the Chargers this Sunday at MetLife Stadium. And then on Monday, it's going to be the Jets against the Dolphins from Miami. And you know about the Couch Cast. We'll tell you about that a little bit later on. The whole station will be together on our YouTube channel, and it'll be a secondary broadcast for you to enjoy Monday Night Football between the Jets and the Dolphins. So we have a lot of stuff to do, and we'll start it off, as we usually do, with Diamond Notes, brought to you by London Jewelers. Now, before we get to the Yankees and the Mets, I've been listening to a lot of the arguments regarding Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh and who's going to win the MVP. And it seems like a lot of the people in media in baseball seem to be leaning toward Cal Raleigh. And one of the prevailing arguments is, you know, he's done something that nobody's ever done before. You know, he's had 60 home runs as a catcher. He's one of the few clean players that has reached the 60 home run mark. All of that is true. It got me to thinking, does that win you the MVP? Because let's consider if there was a pitcher out there who pitched 3 perfect games in 1 year. 3. So unthinkable, but he did something that's never been done before. But the rest of the season, he was just average. So he finished 12-10 with a 4.50 ERA. All of the inside numbers, under the hood numbers, not that great. But boy, he had those 3 perfect games. Would you give him the Cy Young Award? Of course you wouldn't. Now, that's just hyperbolic in order to prove my point. And I know the thing that might get Cal Raleigh the MVP is the fact that he's hit 60 home runs. And you know what? He might end up breaking Aaron Judge's American League record. He might. Does that give him the Cy Young Award when, in fact, he trails in every other category except for RBIs? By a lot. By a lot. And I've said this before, and I'm going to repeat it again. I'm going to have Joel Sherman on at 2 o'clock to get his take. But if Raleigh won the MVP, would it be an outrage? No. No, he's had a stupendous year. But Aaron Judge has had one of the great years that anybody has ever had. And that's not hyperbole. Look at the numbers. He's having one of the best years that anybody has ever had. So I've also heard the argument, well, Cal Raleigh has put the Mariners on his back, and they won the American League West. I'm sure he's played a big role. And the other argument is, well, if you take Cal Raleigh off that team, would they be a playoff team? The answer is probably not, although they have great pitching. So I return serve on that, and I just ask you this one thing. If you took Aaron Judge off the Yankees, and you took his 51 home runs off the Yankees, and you took his .330 batting average off the Yankees, and you took the runs scored off the Yankees and the OPS plus and the WAR from Fangraphs and Baseball Reference, if you took all that away, would the Yankees make the playoffs? No. No. They would not make the playoffs. Because who would have to fill that role? It would have to be Jason Dominguez, who's a good player, but he's not an MVP. And the Mariners, I'm sure, would have another catcher back there. And would that catcher hit 60 home runs? No, he wouldn't. The thing that rankles me just a little bit is that you're willing to give him the MVP because of this amazing historic season he's having via the home run, which should be celebrated. No catcher's ever done this. No switch hitter's ever done this. It really is a phenomenal year. But you didn't use that same criteria in 2017 when Judge hit 52 home runs as a rookie. Nobody had ever done that. Nobody had ever done that. That was the most home runs ever by a rookie, a record that stood until Pete Alonso did it and hit 53. But you ignored that, and you accentuated the batting average that Altuve had, which was an advantage over Judge. Get it. Now, I thought at the time it was wrong. Now, with the information that I have, that the Astros knew what pitches were coming, you know that Judge should have won that award. So he should be working on 3 MVPs, going for his 4th this year. Rather, he has 2 MVPs, and he's going for his 3rd. So the writers made a mistake back in 2017, and they made that vote, obviously, before we knew that the Astros were cheating. And that's not me saying the Astros are cheating. That's the Astros admitting that the Astros are cheating. Banging the trash can, the whole deal. So they knew what pitches were coming. And I love the argument, well, he never really wanted those signs. Oh, okay, I'll play along. He was the one guy on the team that didn't want the signs. So they did that. They put up a screen behind the dugout to find out the signs electronically in real time because he didn't want it. He didn't want it. But again, I don't want to relitigate 2017, but what I am saying is at that point, you chose batting average over historic home run total. This time, you're choosing to go historic home run total over the batting titleist. He's going to beat Jacob Wilson for the batting title. So you got a 6'7", 282-pound man who's going to have over 50 home runs, whose numbers are so incredible that there have been very few, if any, right-handed batters that have done this in a season, and he's going to win a batting title. There have been only 2 people with 50 home runs in the history of baseball that have won the batting title, Jimmy Fox and Mickey Mantle. And it's going to be Aaron Judge. But 60 home runs, that just, it seems like it supersedes everything. Again, I'm not saying that Cal Raleigh is not deserving, and I think it's going to be a close vote. But the way that people say it with such certitude, if you'll notice one thing that I'm doing, I'm not saying with any certitude. I'm leaning toward Judge, and I'm not disparaging Raleigh. Raleigh's had a season for the ages. And I love how people start to become literal. Well, I mean, it's not the best player or the best season. It's most valuable. Okay, it's most valuable. Judge is invaluable to the Yankees? How about he's invaluable to the Yankees? Yankees wouldn't be making the playoffs without Aaron Judge. And you can say the same thing about Raleigh. All right, so we know that they're both very, very valuable, right? Both very valuable. Then, okay, who had the better season? If you had a choice to have a season, if you were a baseball player, would it be Aaron Judge or would it be Cal Raleigh? I think you'd want Aaron Judge's season with the .330 batting average and the 51 home runs and the 130 runs scored and all the walks and all the runs scored. I think you'd want that. That might help your team a little bit more than a guy who's hitting .240 with 60 home runs. Come on. Can we all be honest with each other? We're all friends, right? It's crazy talk that, it's a slam dunk because of the 60 home runs. 60 home runs is phenomenal. And it's going to go down in baseball history as one of the great seasons, home run seasons in baseball history. Doesn't mean it's close to the best season, and it doesn't mean it's the most valuable player either. 15 teams in the league, each city gets 2 votes. Now, I think it's going to be so close that there's a possibility it could be a tie. But here's the thing that I'm worried about. They don't just look at first place votes, because you could look at it and Judge and Raleigh could split the 30 first place votes. So it could be 15-15. Maybe. But here's where it could get out of the realm of being a tie. I would think that if you vote for Raleigh, Judge should be second. And if you vote for Judge, Raleigh should be second. But there's going to be somebody, I don't know if it's a Seattle writer that wants to curry favor with Cal Raleigh or the organization. You could vote for Raleigh with the first vote, but you have to vote 10 people, the top 10 MVP. You could put Judge at number 3 and say put Bobby Witt at number 2. All of a sudden, then you calculate the votes and Raleigh will win because of that one person that decided to drop Judge to 3rd rather than 2nd. See what I mean? We'll talk more about this later. Mets with a big win over the Cubs, but again, concerning to me. They beat the Cubs 8-5, and their bullpen, for once, did very, very well. But the weight of the world is on these 3 kids. McLean, Tong, and Sproat. Sproat starting tonight against the Marlins. McLean was pitching well, and then it fell apart. He allowed 2 home runs. He had allowed 1 home run in his previous 7 starts. 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks. His ERA vaulted from 1.27 to 2.06. But the 3 2/3 scoreless innings from Stanek, Raleigh, Rogers, and Diaz, that got the win because the Cubs were trying to come back. They were attempting to come back, but the Mets took 2 out of 3 in Chicago. So I don't care about style points. I really don't. They came back from a 6-1 deficit in game 1, ended up winning that one, 9-7. They lost on Wednesday, and then they came back and won yesterday, and they knew they had a win because earlier in the day, the Reds salvaged the final game of their 3-game set against the Pirates, 2-1, and Noelvi Marte made an unbelievable catch on a Reynolds drive to right field that would have tied the game at 2. He took away a home run. So the Mets knew that before they took the field that the Reds had won. So if they had lost, the Reds would have been in the 3rd playoff position. The Mets would have dropped out. But what I mean by I don't care about style points, I don't care how they did it, I care about if they get into playoffs, and I still believe they will, you're putting all of this emphasis on McLean, pitching innings he's never pitched before, and is considered the ace of a $340 million payroll. He's probably starting game 1 of your postseason. Think about that. Jonah Tong, 22-year-old kid, probably up before they should have called him up, and he got slapped around in the 2nd game against the Cubs. And today you're going to have Sproat going against the Marlins. And Sproat's 0-1 with a 3.94. They're all good, but do you have a Garrett Crochet there? Do you have a Tarek Skubal? Do you have a Max Fried? I can name any number of aces out. The Mets don't have an ace. The Mets don't have a number 3. So if, in fact, they do play the 3-game series in L.A. against the Dodgers, the first pitcher they're going to see is Shohei Ohtani. Who's matching up with him? McLean? You're going to put a kid on the mound under that kind of pressure in front of 55,000 people at Dodger Stadium. Think about it. They're not set up to succeed. So they have 3 games coming up with the Marlins. It's Sproat today against Sandy Alcantara. And if you think it's going to be a pushover, and forget about 2007 and 2008 where the Marlins crushed your spirit. Forget about that. Different team. Both. Different team. But the Marlins, since June 13th, you ready for this? Are 13 and a half games better than the Mets in the standings. So you're not facing a team that's so much worse than you. They're a couple of games behind you in the standings. They actually got eliminated yesterday when they lost 1-0 to the Phillies. They were still alive. If they had gotten to 81 wins and everybody else had lost every game, they would have been in the playoffs. So the Marlins are not a pushover, and they would love to knock the Mets out. Love it. But why I think the Mets will persevere? They'll be able to grab 1, maybe 2 wins, maybe. Are the Reds going to be able to beat Milwaukee? And the Diamondbacks are going to San Diego. I've been telling you this, and if you'd all just listen to me, You'd have a lot less stress in your life. The teams that are chasing the Mets are not good enough. As bad as the Mets are, the Reds are not ready for prime time. The Diamondbacks, I don't even know how they've done it. With all the trades they made, all the people they gave away at the trade deadline, and somehow Torey Lovullo has kept them motivated and engaged and on the precipice of making the playoffs. The Mets better hope that Milwaukee puts up a little bit of a fight and that the Padres put up a little bit of a fight. Because if those teams sweep, I don't think they can, but if they sweep, the Mets don't hold the tiebreaker against either of them. So they split with the Diamondbacks, right? And you guys say, well, okay, they split. There's no tie. Yeah, there is a tiebreaker. It's your record within your own division. So if the Mets can't win their games against the Marlins in their own division, they're going to be under 500 against the NL East. And if the Diamondbacks do sweep the Padres, their record is going to be over 500 in the National League West. So that would be the tiebreaker. The Mets don't have the tiebreaker against either team. Now, I believe that they will make the playoffs, but I will tell you the shame on them for making it this tough. And as I said yesterday, and I'll repeat over and over again, please spare me with the injuries. Spare me. A lot of teams have injuries. Losing Griffin Canning and McGill does not measure up to losing Garrett Cole, Louis Heel for 4 months, and Clark Schmidt. Sorry, doesn't measure up to losing Stanton for 4 months. Sorry, it doesn't. It just doesn't. And I could give you injury. Zach Wheeler, does it measure up to losing Zach Wheeler for the Phillies? Canning and McGill are not Zach Wheeler. Together, they're not Zach Wheeler. But gee whiz, somehow the Phillies persevered and ran away with the division. Guy stepped up yesterday. Beatty hit a home run. Lindor hit a home run. Mets, for the first time in their history, have 3 players with 30 or more home runs. They did the little things they had to do. I can't wait for them to go into the playoffs because I want to see how these kids are going to perform. How will they squeeze 2 wins against the Dodgers with any combination of Peterson, Manaea, Holmes, McClain, Tongue, Sproat? How? I don't think they can. I think they will make the playoffs, and I do not think they will get through the Dodgers. If they do, wow. Well, then they could go on another little run again, another magical run like last year. Yankees beat the White Sox 5-3, a big bases-loaded double, clearing the bases by Giancarlo Stanton, turned a 3-1 deficit into a 4-3 lead. The Yankee bullpen again did its job. Devin Williams got a little scary with 2 outs, but a great catch by Bellinger. And then Bednar closed it out. And the Red Sox lost the final game of the 3-game set to Toronto. You cannot get on the Red Sox. Oh, they didn't help us out. Red Sox helped you out plenty. In fact, it went perfect for the Yankees. Red Sox took 2 out of 3 while the Yankees were sweeping. So the Yankees picked up the 2 games that they were behind Toronto. So now they're dead tied going into the final weekend. Tampa Bay at Toronto. Tonight starts. Tampa Bay never gives up. They never roll over. Kevin Cash doesn't allow them to. Are they as good as the Blue Jays? Nope. Can they take 1 game from the Blue Jays? Yeah. 2? I don't know. But they can take 1. And all they have to do is take 1, and the Yankees sweep the Orioles. But that's going to be easier said than done. Why? Because the Orioles are much better than you think they are. And the guy they're sending out to the mound tonight, Trevor Rogers, if you take a deep dive into his numbers, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He might be one of the 3 top pitchers in all of baseball. 9-2 with a 1.35 ERA. They have Bradish on Sunday. They have Sugano tomorrow. They're sending 3 really good pitchers out against the Yankees. So the Yankees have their work cut out for them. Here's what the Yankees have to do. Sweep. Because I don't think Toronto is going to sweep Tampa Bay. That's what the Yankees have to do. Sweep. And then they win the American League East. And I thought that Aaron Boone said it best because he's being questioned. Well, a lot of our callers have questioned me about this. Well, isn't it better to play the 3 games rather than go stale? And Boone looked at the person who asked him that with a look of incredulity and said, well, if you finish first, that means you won the first round. You're getting a bye through the first round. Why would you rather play 2 out of 3 to stay sharp? It's on us to stay sharp. And by the way, the Yankees and the Dodgers both had byes last year, and they made it to the World Series. Anybody that would rather play a best-of-3 wild card so you could stay sharp, you're not that sharp. You're not that sharp. It doesn't make any sense. You can lose that series. One thing did happen for the Yankees yesterday, which is a plus. With the Red Sox losing and the Yankees winning again, the Yankees have clinched home field advantage if, in fact, they get into the playoffs as a wild card and not the winner of the American League East. So if they start a 3-game series against the Red Sox, it'll be Tuesday night at Yankee Stadium. It will not be Tuesday night at Fenway Park. Now, is that the be-all, end-all? Absolutely not. But it's better than being at Fenway. You got last licks. You got the Yankee Stadium crowd on your side. That's what you have. But I'll tell you what, my preference is to go in as the American League East champion. Get yourself the bye, and that's what you do. Those are Diamond Notes brought to you by London Jewelers. Visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the Americana Mall and the mall at Short Hills. I'm going to come back because it's time for the co-host. I want to talk to you, the Judge Raleigh MVP discussion, the Mets, what's their pitching going into the postseason, and the Yankees still having a chance to win the American League East, which is just absolutely, to me, amazing. Who would have thought that even last Wednesday when they were 5 games out? 5 games out. Hey, are you ready to fire up your Saturdays? FanDuel has got a boost you don't want to miss. It's called Boostin' with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. So here's how it works. Each week, they're giving everyone a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everyone gets the boost. Everybody. We're talking real games, real teams, real Saturdays with an extra payout on the line. It's easy, it's fun, and it's only on FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/K to download the app, check out the Boostin' with the Boys offer, and get in on the action. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
Oh, what are you doing? Don't do New York City dirty.
New York City's my heart, my soul. I would never do this place dirty, because everything I want is in this city.
Why would you want to dirty somewhere that you live?
This is your home. You don't throw papers out the window, flick cigarette butts.
It's disrespectful. Dispose of it the correct way.
I would never put trash on the ground. That's why we got trash cans. Don't do New York City dirty. Trash your trash.
A message from the Sanitation Foundation.
One by one, we keep this city clean, man. Let's get it.
Right now at Bay Ridge Honda, your EV countdown to $7,500 in savings ends September 30th. Hurry in, the clock is ticking. You can get a Prologue Touring for $179 per month with 0 down during the EV Countdown sales event. Plus, receive thousands in benefits and savings with their Bay Ridge Plus Advantage plan. Upfront pricing, total peace of mind. Visit BayRidgeHonda.com. 36 months lease, 10,000 miles per year, 3,300 loyalty or conquest, and $7,500 EV credit as down payment.
You know so much about who you are. But do you know what makes your body your body? With over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help you know the truth. Because you know you're made of grit, wit, and a good heart. But just how healthy is that heart? You know you're made up of all the places you've called home. You know you're made of your mom's sarcasm. And now you can find out if you have her thyroid too. You know you're made of college all-nighters and 30s early-nighters, but those still don't explain your sleep issues. You know that you're made up of good meals with even better conversation. But are you actually absorbing those nutrients? A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 25 Mazda CX-30 for $199 for 33 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. Then SM843629. MSRP $26,865. Zero security deposit. Ends 9/30/25.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Hey, it's Reese Davis. Let's be honest, we can't keep an eye on everything unless you've got Blink Outdoor 4 cameras. While you're focused on the game, Blink's keeping an eye on your home.
With up to 2-year battery life and with Sync Module XR, you can cover more space without constant maintenance. No wires, no worries. Blink helps keep an eye on what matters most. Get Blink today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Welcome back to the fastest 2 hours in sports talk. Let's be honest, it goes by in a blink. You're almost begging for more. Give me more, I need more. But we do give you more now because now you can watch us visually as well. All you have to do is go to the ESPN New York app, click on the YouTube tile, subscribe, and boom, you watch all of the shows for free. It's really amazing. I've been asked over and over throughout the year, why aren't you guys on TV? Well, this isn't exactly TV, but it's kind of close. It's YouTube TV. So our YouTube TV channel, right now you can see me in a blue pinstripe suit with a pink tie and a white shirt. I look terrific. I really do. But I'm not going to promise you, like Rick DiPietro, that I'm going to take my clothes off just in order to get the highest viewership. But we're neck and neck with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Absolutely neck and neck. Make our football picks a little bit later on in the show. I had a good week last week, 2-0. So these are the two-pack for sure because you're going to be for sure to get a winner out of these two games that I'm going to pick. That'll be later on in the show. I did notice one thing. The guys in the afternoon, Don Hahn and Rosenberg, they've been dreadful. But nobody's been worse than Peter. I believe Peter has 1 point. He is 1-8 in his first 9 picks. 1-8. I think Don and Allen are 2-7. So they have not gotten the rhythm just yet. Now, of the three of them, I'd have to bet on Don. Because Don does figure it out. He gets the rhythm of the year and sees what's hot, what's not, who's going to play well in what situation. But Peter at 1-8. What an embarrassment to himself and his whole family. Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7:05, the Yankees host the Orioles at the Stadium in the Bronx. That game will be on Yes. 7:10, the Mets are in Miami to play the Marlins. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. right here on 880 ESPN. 7:07, Rays are in Toronto. 7:10, Red Sox will host the Tigers. Tigers did beat the Guardians yesterday, so they are tied atop the American League Central, but the Guardians have the tiebreaker in that one. 7:10, the Guardians host the Rangers. 8:10, the Reds are in Milwaukee. 9:40, Diamondbacks are in San Diego. And 9:40, the Astros are in L.A., really Anaheim, to play the Angels. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's start it off with John in Washington. John, talk to me.
Hey, Michael. Nice to be on the show again with you. I want everybody to get real close to the phone and just listen. Judge has been walked, 37 times?
Mm-hmm.
Intentionally?
Yep.
Like, to me, it was like that right there speaks volumes on his value, that a team like the White Sox, who is completely out of it, is purposely putting them on. And I'm also looking back to a couple years ago when he was going for that record, nobody was pitching to him.
Mm-hmm.
And Raleigh is getting cookies down the middle.
It does tell you something. I don't think the Rockies even thought about pitching him differently and trying to stop him from hitting home runs. I mean, if you looked at the pitches that he hit for home runs, they were not particularly difficult pitches. You could still be intentionally walked and hit your home runs. Look at Barry Bonds, who was intentionally walked 120 times one year. Judge, though, has been walked now 36 times intentionally, and that's more than most major league teams. I was surprised that the White Sox were walking him, because the White Sox, obviously they want to win, but you also want to see what you have with pitchers. So don't you want the pitchers to see if they could get out Aaron Judge? The game means nothing to the White Sox. So when John Schneider of the Blue Jays continually walked Aaron Judge when the Blue Jays swept the Yankees in that 4-game series, I totally understood it. If I'm a team that's playing for something, I'd never pitch the Judge. But the White Sox, all the times they intentionally walked him in the 3 games, I don't get that. Aren't you trying to find out what your team is about? That's all I'm wondering. Don't you want to see if a pitcher could get Judge out in a big spot? Instead, you do this strategic thing, and that's what Will Venable did. Okay, I'm not going to pitch the Judge. I'll pitch to Bellinger. Let's go to Juan in Worcester. Juan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Michael.
How are you?
I'm doing great. First time, long time being your fan, long time listening to the show. First thing I want to say, Michael, growing up in Dominican Republic, it was a pleasure for me to say everybody, when I was 13 years old in 2000, telling everybody that Roger Clemens was better than Pedro Martinez. That was my pleasure. That was the kind of fan that I am.
Okay.
And it's always been a pleasure listening to you in the background of all this plays. It was a different access in the air. I have all the access to you and Yes now. And I really appreciate your talent and the people around you. But having said all that, my question to you is, are you familiar with the criteria for meeting the Hall of Famer as a broadcaster? Because in my eyes, you are a Hall of Famer. So I would like to listen your perspective about it. And I also want to say, you got to be blind like the law for not to see that Aaron Judge is the MVP over Cal Raleigh. In 1998, Sammy Sosa hit 66 homers, and he was the MVP, no Mark McGwire, who hit 70. I know 66 is closer than to 70 than 51 than whatever Cal Raleigh has now, but like you've been saying the whole time, he beats him in every other category, every other important statistic besides homer and RBIs.
Well, I would agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying, Juan. The one thing that I would take exception to, everybody is saying, well, it would be outrageous if Raleigh won. It wouldn't be outrageous. He's had a great year. I think that Judge should win. But if Cal Raleigh won, would it be the great train robbery of all time? No, I think it would be an incorrect choice. But it's not like you're picking some bum. This guy's had one of the great seasons of all time. But so is Judge. And if you look at Judge's overall season, I believe he's been much better than Raleigh. Raleigh beats him in home runs and RBIs. That's it. Every other stat, some that people think are more important, Judge beats him and beats him convincingly. Now, as for the broadcasters' wing of the Hall of Fame, I used to talk with Don about this, and he would argue with me. I'm not getting in. I'm just not. The way it works is I think you have to get nominated by some fan vote or something like that. And then once you get nominated, then there's a committee that's put together by the Hall of Fame that it looks like they choose radio broadcasters more than television guys. They just do. So the guy who got in last year, Tom Hamilton, who's great, longtime Guardians broadcaster, he's a radio guy. So they look at radio as more of a real tell on what type of baseball broadcaster you are. If I got in, would I absolutely adore it? Of course I would. You kind of become part of forever, but under no circumstance do I think that's going to happen. So it's a very political thing. The people that are voting, some of them aren't even broadcasters, so they wouldn't know what would be good or bad. Some of the people that have already won, they do get a vote. But I've talked to some people that are on the committee, and they think it has to be completely redone, but the Hall of Fame has no intention of redoing how it's decided. So the way it's set up now, I don't think I would get in, and nor do I think I deserve it. I think I'm good at what I do, but Hall of Fame, you have to be the best of the best. And am I Mel Allen? No. Am I Vince Scully? No. Am I Bob Costas? No. There's a Hall of Fame, and I guess I would be in the Hall of Good. I'm not being humble. I think I do a pretty good job, and to have a job for 34 years means that you're doing something right. But in terms of like being so great to be in the Hall of Fame, I don't sense that's going to happen. Anthony in South Jersey. Anthony.
Hey, Michael K. My name's Anthony Yesner. I'm a first-time, long-time. Just wanted to start off by saying that our family loves you. My wife, we met about 6 years ago, didn't know anything about baseball. I said, listen to Michael K. He's amazing. So
man, thank
our
you.
family loves you here. I actually wanted to talk about Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. I also think that it's definitely Aaron Judge, and the reason being not only he leads in every other category, but I also look at it as how the team plays when Aaron Judge is out of the lineup. Usually if he's injured, the team definitely struggles a little bit more, rather than when he's in the lineup. When he's in the lineup and he's performing, playing good, the team just performs a little bit differently. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I appreciate it.
First of all, thank you for the kind words, Anthony. Have a great weekend. I think that it comes down to how important he is to this team. Even when he was unable to play right field, I think it hurt them. And then the 10 games he missed when he first hurt the flexor tendon in the elbow, well, they didn't play that well. Take a look at what happened to the Yankee season when he ran into the fence at Dodger Stadium. They didn't make the playoffs. They're completely different. This team is built around Aaron Judge. And you could say that the Mariners are built around Cal Raleigh. I think the Mariners are built around pitching. Now, Cal Raleigh has a big part of that because he catches that staff. So you can't just dismiss that. But again, the one version of WAR that really incorporates what you do as a defender, especially as a catcher, is Fangraphs. So you look at Fangraphs WAR, and Judge still leads Raleigh. And Fangraphs puts a heavy emphasis on framing and receiving and throwing and stuff like that. Baseball Reference WAR does not. So in Baseball Reference WAR, Judge beats him by 2 full points. Now, in Fangraphs WAR, he beats him by 0.6, but still beats him. So what do you, and when you say, okay, Raleigh's the MVP, okay, so what are you hanging your hat on? Because the thing that decides what type of player you are, that Major League Baseball is run on, tells you in both of the different wars that Judge is the better player or has had the better season. Both of them. You look at OPS plus, he blows them away in that. And that tells you how much better you are than the average player. And Judge has had historic OPS plus numbers over the last couple of years, including this year as well. Let's go to David on the east side. David.
Michael, the MVP debate is important. I'm not saying we shouldn't have it, but I am worried that Yankee fans are getting a little too obsessed with it and losing how much more important it is to Judge's legacy that he wins a World Series. I just wish I heard at least a few Yankee fans saying Judge is the MVP, but Cal can have it. We're not going to die on that hill. We want our captain to get his ring. So that's my message to Yankee fans. Let's win the World Series, and then in November, when Cal is announced as the MVP, we won't care one bit because Judge is the champ.
Well, I mean, you know, I think you might have called into Donhan and Rosenberg. It might have been you or somebody. I think that's so silly. You know, just because you want him to win the MVP, of course he has to perform better in the postseason. Of course. They're both mutually exclusive. If he gets the MVP, it doesn't mean that he doesn't perform well in the postseason. I don't understand that thinking. I mean, what are you exactly trying to put across? Oh, okay, let's not worry about the MVP. Let's worry about whether he performs in the postseason. As if one leads to the other or one doesn't lead to the other. The votes have to be in on Monday. That's before the postseason even starts. So that's a ridiculous take. Now, if you're saying, I don't care if he wins the MVP, all I want to do, I want to see him win an MVP in the World Series, okay. But again, one does not exclude the other. That's just a silly take, David. It really is. I don't know why Yankee fans are worried about that. They should be worried about the postseason. You can't worry about both? One is one thing, one's another. I don't, with all due respect, you're a good caller, but I don't get that take at all. It's kind of like way out there, like you're trying too hard, bro, in the words of Don LaGreca, who was imitating the words of Joe Beningo. You're trying too hard, bro. You really are. Let's not worry about the MVP. Let's worry about the postseason. How about worrying about both? That's like, let's not worry about paying the electric bill. Let's worry about paying the mortgage. Let's worry about paying both. And that's a bad example because those two things are not mutually exclusive. If you pay the electric bill, you might not have money to pay the mortgage, and vice versa. But if you win the American League MVP, it has nothing to do with how you do in the postseason. And if you don't win it, it has nothing to do with what you do in the postseason. That's why you don't vote during the postseason. You vote before the postseason begins. Every single vote has to be in by Monday. David, come on. Get ready for a new Monday Night Football experience with the ESPN New York Couchcast. When the Jets take on the Dolphins for the Week 4 divisional matchup, we are all excited about this. And it's another reason why you should get the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. It's free. You don't have to pay a dime, and get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So you get it, and then you settle in on the couch and join the Altcast with all your favorite ESPN New York personalities for instant reactions, unfiltered commentary, and behind-the-mic banter. Stream live on our YouTube page from kickoff to the final whistle. How much food is Chris Carlin going to eat? How exclusive will Rick and I be to all the other people where we'll just talk to each other? These are things you could see. You could live. It's like being a voyeur on your best friends. Grab your snacks, watch the game with all of us, the pros. It's the ESPN New York Couchcast presented by Calandra's Bakery. Can't wait to eat their food. Jacob's Pickles. Can't wait to eat what they're going to put together. And also driven by the All-American Ford Auto Group, your giant Ford Auto Group with giant savings and a giant selection. Maybe I'll have a Ford drive me to the station that night. Maybe All-American Ford could do that. So then I tie in all three all-important sponsors. See what I did there? Anyway, it's Monday. It's September 29th, starting at 7 p.m. on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. We're going to come back. More of your phone calls. Joel Sherman at 2 o'clock. We have our two-pack for sure picks. That's at the end of the 2 o'clock hour. It's the K-Show right here on ESPN New York.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
At Garden City Mazda, discover more about what moves you.
Our fall kickoff savings start now. Don't miss out.
Our inventory of new and Mazda certified pre-owned vehicles is unmatched in New York.
Embrace every unexpected turn with the new 2025 Mazda lineup. Refined performance, spacious interiors to fit your life. Elevate your driving experience.
Garden City Mazda. Exhilaration at every turn, exceptional in every way.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. We all turn to some funny places for support, but not everyone is a therapist. Not everyone is the one. Find your right match with BetterHelp. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 10-plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recs. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapists at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/timeout. That's betterhelp.com/timeout.
Shop great new offers at Bay Ridge Mazda. Lease the 2025 Mazda CX-5S for as low as $239 per month or finance for 2.9% APR for 36 months. They will take any trade-in and accept all lease returns, even if you didn't lease with them. Plus, enjoy Bay Ridge Plus benefits like ding and dent coverage, key replacement, windshield protection, and roadside assistance, all included. Visit them in Brooklyn or online at BayRidgeMazda.com. Bay Ridge Mazda, where confidence comes standard. See dealer for details.
Did you know you can get more with New York Lottery Plus?
You pulling my leg?
No, seriously. Just enter scratch off and draw game tickets and get more points.
Pulling a fast one?
No. And you can put your points towards chances to win gift cards, cash prizes, and more.
Is this a stunt?
No. You even get points for playing new games.
You're pulling my chain, aren't you?
No.
Pulling my finger?
What? No. Man, put that thing away.
Sorry.
Introducing New York Lottery Plus. Download the app, sign up, get more. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
You matter, and so does your well-being. If you're facing tough moments, struggling with anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, or substance use, help is here anytime you need it. Call, text, or chat 988 for free confidential support. New Jersey's 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here 24/7 for you or someone you love, with trained counselors who listen and care without judgment. You matter. Remember New Jersey's 988. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600-plus miles of range. Is it the driver behind the wheel? What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid, so much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. That's 562-314-4603.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans,
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team. Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
All right, it's time now for the leaderboard update brought to you by Schweppes, and this is the Ryder Cup leaderboard. So this morning, they had the 4 foursomes, and it did not go well for the United States. Europe is leading 3-1 after the 4 foursomes, and now they are playing the Friday afternoon 4 balls. There you have it. That is the leaderboard update presented by Schweppes. Schweppes offers a hole-in-one refreshment experience and is proud to sponsor PGA of America. Enhance your summer with Schweppes Seltzer or Schweppes Ginger Ale. You know, so many people are into this that are not even real golf fans, but I think the patriotic aspect of it plays into a lot of people's psyche, and you know, not only do they want to pay attention to it, but some of them are going. So a guy who loves golf visited Paul O'Neill in the booth last night, and he said that he lives in Westchester. He was getting up at 3 in the morning to get to Bethpage Black at 5 in the morning in order to see this. And I looked at him like my one eyebrow raised. And he goes, "What?" I said, "You getting up at 3 in the morning?" He goes, "Yeah, it's going to be awesome." I said, "I don't know if there's anything other than my kids that I would get up at 3 in the morning for. Or if I had to do something for work, but like an enjoyment, like some kind of a frivolous thing, I can't see it. First, I'd be exhausted the whole day. But I know people are out there at Bethpage Black having a blast. So again, it has not gone well at the beginning for the United States team. All right, let's go back to the phones. We'll go to Harold in Long Island. Harold.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Great.
All right. Look, I've been following the Yankees since 1980 at least. When I was 8 years old, Mel Allen, Bill, and Jim Woods. And I even got
1980. You said
1980. I mean 1950. What am I talking about?
Yes.
1950.
Gotcha.
In Rockaway, and I was walking with a transistor radio, and I heard "Old Reliable" break his leg sliding in against Detroit Tigers, I believe, in July. Do you know who Old Reliable
fan.
was?
I love it.
You know who Old Reliable was?
Yeah, Tommy Henrik.
Right.
Yeah.
Boy, you didn't. I know you know all your stuff. That's pretty impressive. That fast.
Well, thanks.
Anyway, but I think it was July. I remember the game. And Mel, I want to. I mean, radio is great, and believe it or not, there's something about radio. Well, Mel Allen did it with Phil Rizzuto even before that.
Oh, baseball's a radio
for
sport,
over 20 years. I believe you've been doing this for over 20 years of TV.
Absolutely.
Probably almost as long as Mel Allen, and I think you're terrific.
Well, thanks.
By the way, I wanted to mention, you there?
Yeah.
That if Detroit beats Boston, they're playing against Boston 3 games. They win 2 out of 3. I think Detroit takes their place against the Yankees.
So let me ask you this, Harold, because you're a longtime fan. Who would you rather play if you're the Yankees? The Reds? Because I think I'd rather play the Tigers.
Detroit.
Me too.
Rather play Detroit.
I agree. Because I would rather face the Red Sox in a longer series where I think the overall breadth of the team would manifest itself more. I think the better team has a better chance of winning a longer series. Now, you could say the same thing about the Tigers. The Tigers have one thing that scares me. That's Tarek Skubal. Their bullpen doesn't scare me. The rest of the starting rotation doesn't scare me. They're a pesky bunch. That doesn't scare me. The Red Sox also have that one pitcher that scares me, in Garrett Crochet. But Brian Bayo has always pitched well against the Yankees. Lucas Giolito. They've got a great closer this year in Chapman. They're a pesky team. They might get back Roman Anthony. Red Sox. If you ask me, well, who are the teams you want to avoid to the ALCS? It would be the Red Sox and the Mariners, because the Mariners have great starting pitching and they have a pretty good bullpen as well, and their offense has come alive. So I think it's going to be interesting. I love the fact that baseball still, everything's up in the air, and there are only 3 games remaining in the regular season. This is what you hope for if you're Rob Manfred and all the people that run baseball. This is it. I mean, this is baseball nirvana. Yankee series counts. Blue Jay series counts. Tigers, Guardians, Red Sox, the Mets, the Reds. On the outskirts, the Diamondbacks. All of them count. Sarah Langs of MLB came up with a great stat. This is the first time since they went to 6 divisions, so that was 1994, I believe, that a team in each division at one time had a 5.5 game lead and dropped out of first place. And you can say, well, the Blue Jays didn't drop out of first place. No. The Yankees, at one point this year, had a 7-game lead, and they did drop out of first place. Every single team, the Mets, that had a big lead, dropped out. I mean, that's the ebb and flow of a baseball season. That's why I always say the 162-game slate is the truest test of a champion. Now, unfortunately, wild cards get in, so you don't always get the best team that wins the World Series. You get the team that gets hotter or is built for a shorter series with great starting pitching. But I'm all in. And so is our next guest, our first guest today, Joel Sherman, the brilliant baseball columnist from the New York Post. You could all see him on the MLB Network. He's going to join us in just a moment, so please stay tuned for that right here on ESPN New York.
Honey, this is it. Shot clock winding down. Trailing by 2.
When you can't miss the last shot, and neither can he, don't take slow for an answer.
Estrella shoots. Didn't see it coming.
Switch to Optimum Fiber, the fastest and most reliable fiber internet, starting at just $40 a month. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today.
What went through your head on the last shot? It all happened so fast.
Optimum. Don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Right now at Bay Ridge Honda, your EV countdown to $7,500 in savings ends September 30th. Hurry in, the clock is ticking. You can get a Prologue Touring for $179 per month with 0 down during the EV Countdown sales event. Plus, receive thousands in benefits and savings with their Bay Ridge Plus Advantage plan. Upfront pricing, total peace of mind. Visit BayRidgeHonda.com. 36 months lease, 10,000 miles per year, 3,300 loyalty or conquest, and $7,500 EV credit as down payment.
This fall, don't sit on the sideline because of pain. If you're tired of waking up stiff, fighting neck, back, or joint pain, and missing out on the things you love, it's time to take action. Call Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain, New Jersey's top pain specialist. Dr. Shaw is the Ivy League trained, double board certified, and laser focused on one thing: getting you back in the game. Living pain-free, no surgery, no cuts, no downtime. Just precise image-guided treatments that deliver real results. Whether it's sciatica, nerve pain, migraine, or chronic joint pain, Dr. Shaw will personalize a non-surgical game plan just for you without pain medication. Same-day and next-day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. Most major insurances are accepted, so what are you waiting for? Don't let pain keep you out of the action this season. Visit Sandwell Pain to text, call, or book online. You'll wish you met Dr. Jay Shaw a lot sooner. Relief starts today, and victory over pain is closer than you think.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Put
it in the box. This is your radio home for New York Mets baseball. 880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
Paying extra for tire care is BS. You know, bad service. So at Midas, we're rolling out our BS-free tire guarantee, included with paid installation and tax on every purchase. You'll pay nothing for flat replacements, nada for flat repairs, and zilch for tire rotations every 5,000 miles. That's $0 for all that. So with this limited lifetime tire guarantee, you'll pay a whole lot of nothing compared to what the other guys charge for tire care. That's the BS-free tire guarantee, only at Midas.
Out here, days are getting a little cooler, and mornings are starting with a few more layers. It's the season for more time at the grill, more feed for your animals. Heaters burn late into the night, and the woods start calling your name. We appreciate hard-working hands, shared moments, and love for our land. That's why season after season, we're here for your life out here. Tractor Supply.
Welcome back to the Michael K. Show, everybody. Great weekend coming up in baseball. So many things still undecided. I wanted to get this gentleman on the show, and I'm going to embarrass him right now because I consider myself fairly bright, and I consider myself that I know baseball pretty well. But every time I read Joel Sherman, he makes me think, where I go, wow, I didn't think of it like that, and gives me a different perspective than I had even considered. And I think that that's a testament to how great a reporter and a great writer and baseball mind he is. So I said, let's get him on the show. Let everybody enjoy it. And you can enjoy him in the New York Post and on MLB Network as well. And we welcome in Joel Sherman. Hey, Joel, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. Can we just end it there? I don't think it's ever going to get much better than that for me, so I appreciate it. That's really kind of you.
You got it. All right, let's start off with something that has been front and center on the show for the last week or so. Give me your read on Judge and Raleigh, and who's your MVP?
You know, Mike, I never abstain. I will say that I literally finished writing my awards column about 2 hours ago. It will be posted online at nypost.com tomorrow and be in the actual physical newspaper on Sunday.
Okay.
I'd rather not give it away except for to say this. I think that there are some people who say, oh, this is obvious. And if you see this as obvious, I see you as either like a completely biased person, either fan or person. And so for those people, I always say, put Aaron Judge with these numbers on Seattle and put Cal Raleigh on the Yankees. Do you know a Yankee fan in the world, if they had a catcher who's hit 60 homers, who would be saying Aaron Judge is the MVP? So there's that. Or they're just so cocksure because they look at something like WAR or OPS, and that's their Bible. And those are the kind of people who scare me in sports and the world when they're so cocksure about something. You know, like if you're making a WAR argument, a strictly WAR argument, it also means that Gerardo Perdomo of the Arizona Diamondbacks is the National League MVP. Are you ready to fight that if you're a Baseball Reference WAR person? So I think this is a really tough case. And I made a call on it. And maybe we should have talked Monday because I don't really want to kind of like just give it away. But I think it's razor thin. I think you can make a strong case for either side, Mike.
Well, it's funny the way you put it, and I would give it to Judge, but I agree with you. Those that say, well, there's no debate. When taking either side, it doesn't make sense because if Cal Raleigh won the MVP, would I be outraged? No. And if Aaron Judge wins the MVP, should people that think Cal Raleigh deserves it, should they be outraged? No. They both had unbelievable seasons. Here's the thing that bothers me with these awards, though, Joel, is that everybody puts emphasis on different things. And I don't know if the rules are really laid out. I mean, is it the best player? Because when you look at Andre Dawson, when he won the MVP, if you look at the other stats, maybe he shouldn't have. So people locked in on the 49 home runs. It's just that every single person has a different thing that they accentuate.
Mike, I would say that's true, though, about elections of all types, right? Like sometimes the Republican wins, sometimes the Democrat wins, mayor, senator, governor, president. People emphasize their wallets sometimes, education, etc. I get the changing views. You hope people just go in and really do the work and stay unbiased. And look, here's just something I would say about each side on this. If I was trying to make a case, if I was trying to be lawyerly, I would point out, I don't think it's ever been tougher to be a major league catcher than right now. Mike, we watch these guys. The velocity has never been like this. The movement has never been like this. The individual scouting report for every hitter hasn't been like this. So there's a mental, physical burden on catchers like never before. And the American League leader in innings caught is Cal Raleigh, and he's very good at it. And the idea that somebody in this age would be a heavily used catcher and be able to hit 60 homers in a season seems crazy to me, number one, and that he would not be the MVP would be equally insane, except for in this century, I'll go back even further. Since 162 games was instituted fully in 1962, there have been 8 cases of a player having a 210 OPS plus or better in a full season. So 162 games. So, not the COVID year, not some of the years that were hurt by labor, in 162 games. 4 of them are by Barry Bonds. That's somewhat tainted. 1 of them is by Mark McGwire. It is at least somewhat tainted. The other 3 are by Judge, including this year. We are watching something that you just don't see. He's one of the greatest offensive players in the history of the sport at his peak doing it. At a time where it's never been tougher to hit, he's leading the league in batting average and has 51 homers and is like worlds away from everybody else when you do OPS plus. And I think there's other stats that would show that. And so these are the 2 cases. And I think you could lawyerly argue either case and say that's the MVP and feel strongly about it. But I don't really feel strongly about it. I think that there's 2 great answers, which means there's also going to be 1 wrong answer. I think this is a very, very tough case.
All right, since we're talking about Judge, let's shift to the broad view of the Yankees. Joel, even when they were struggling, I thought, in this American League, they'd get in as a wild card. But I'm stunned that they've made up this ground, especially in the last week, 5 games out last Wednesday, to be tied with the Blue Jays. Are you surprised after that 20-31 stretch that they have a chance to win the American League East?
A little surprised because the bad play lasted so long and was so kind of widespread between, the bases and fielding and striking out a lot, and their bullpen was in real disarray. It felt like a lot had to be pulled back together. I do think we kind of fall for this trick every year with the Yankees, especially under Aaron Boone. They have about a 40-game period where you kind of convince yourself, they're just not very good. And we should say something for the institution of the Yankees, that they were able to pull it all back together. They generally have done that for over 3 decades. It's hard to ignore that they're in the same town as the Mets, who are trying to establish this. And I really thought coming out of last year, the Cohen, Stearns, Mendoza group were going to change kind of the conversation around this team not being able to sustain excellence. The fact that the Yankees do sustain excellence, I know people will say, well, look at the payroll. I don't know. Lots of teams spend money. This is pretty consistent and unique in the history of the game. And if I were looking at one thing, Mike, the teams that have kind of like died on the vine late here, which include the Mets and the Tigers, they tried all season, and I mean all season, starting in April, where they were like, aside from maybe when Tarek Skubal started or some David Peterson, they were like fine with a starter going 4 innings or 5 innings and using the bullpen a lot. And like maybe in a scramble late in the year like Detroit had last year, you can do that. But that feels hard over 162 games. I talked to Garrett Cole after the game last night because I wrote something in the paper about Rodon and Fried, who I think have this interesting symmetry. They both threw exactly 195 in a 3rd innings. It's tied for 2nd most in the American League with Skubal. Like when Cole goes down, it's simple. Fried and Rodon are horses and excellent, or the Yankees are in big trouble. And they got horses and excellent. And I think even in this day and age, Mike, if you don't have some starters who give you at least 6 or 7 and maybe even sometimes 8 regularly so that the other guys on the staff get the bullpen gets a little rest. I think you hit a period like the Tigers and the Mets now where you look around and go, everyone's exhausted. I don't know who to trust. I've played 159 games, and I have no idea who I could trust. And I think we ask less of starting pitching, and in some way it makes the guys who do it well and eat innings more valuable than ever.
All right, so that is a natural shift over to the Mets. You know, Stearns received, kudos for what he did last year, and I think he put a lot of trust in the Mets pitching lab and Jeremy Hefner, and it seemed like his plan, Joel, it's not like Garrett Cole got hurt on the Mets, right? His plan is what they did. And I don't know if it's sustainable because you burn out bullpens. So I look at the Mets, and I still think they're going to make the postseason. But who's going to start? David Peterson's been awful. McClain's just a kid. Manaea hasn't pitched well. Holmes, you want to start him in a playoff game? This model, to me, looks like a little bit of a blip on the genius of David Stearns. I wonder if he's going to change the way he thinks about paying for an ace.
Yeah, I don't think so, and I think you missed a name there. Like, Kodai Senga was supposed to be their ace, and by the way, until he took a high throw from Pete Alonso on June 12th in the 6th inning against the Nationals and came down and hurt his hamstring, he's probably the National League Cy Young frontrunner. He had a 1.47 ERA at that point. That's the demarcation point. The next day, the Mets had the best record in baseball, 45-24 at the end of that game. They've had about the 4th worst in baseball since then, and Senga's loss is huge. And I do think what the Mets believed going into this season was they were going to handle this in waves, which is they began the season with like Manaea on the injured list and a couple of other guys. And they thought, oh, we'll get those guys back. Oh, Manaea, Montas. And that will be the first wave. And then maybe come August, there's a second wave of McClain, Tong, Sproat. And then just they get through the season throwing a lot of pitchers at the issue. They've had a lot of injuries. They have a lot of brittle players. It's an era when there's a lot of pitching injuries. And I always kind of caution people is if the Mets go big in the offseason, and I don't think the timing worked out perfect where they could have turned around and done Fried, right? They're just done with Soto. So if it's not Fried, it's kind of Burns or Snell. Burns goes down with Tommy John surgery. Snell missed 4 months in the middle of the season. Now he looks like Ace Snell again late, but you would have had to survive the 4 months in the middle without him. I think that the philosophy of David Stearns actually has some humility to it. And I know everybody applies arrogance to David. The humility is, I don't know which of these guys is going to be durable for a long time. So I'd rather stay out of that game, especially if I'm signing a guy who's already 30. And therefore, I would rather try to throw numbers and quality at it. In last year, that philosophy worked. This year, they made a bad signing, Montas. Maybe they made a second bad signing. They knew Manaea the best and felt that he could repeat somewhat what he did in the second half of last season. That's been a terrible signing. And they put a lot on Senga, who has now showed he can't stay healthy, and maybe there's some other stuff going on with him. And so therefore, Mike, to your point, I think this weekend is so much on their offense, especially the top guys in the lineup. They have to in some way protect this pitching and figure out how to win games over the weekend. And I think that's about scoring. And if the Marlins don't change anything because they've been officially eliminated, they're actually starting their 3 best starters this weekend.
Well, but here's another thing that I look at with the Mets. I think that is a miscalculation. And I've seen it bite the Yankees over the years, too. It's like they gave no consideration, Joel, to defense. It's a bad defensive team.
Yes. And what's amazing, Mike, is it really matters to David Stearns. Remember, he is the guy who created the infrastructure model that the Milwaukee Brewers lean on. The problem is, once you decide to bring Alonso back and you have Vientos off of last season, you are pretty much committed to an Alonso Vientos corner infield. If you sign, we saw this last year with the Yankees, Mike, every day, is Juan Soto is a terrific guy to have hitting 4 or 5 times a game, but he's probably going to be somewhat of a liability in right field. Well, I'm up to 3 corners of a situation where they're going to have defensive problems. Their best defensive center fielders never hit this year. I think Lindor is still a very good shortstop, but I feel it's a grade down from last year, and maybe that's something to think about as he's entered his 30s. And, like, they went from a team that, I do think Brett Beatty makes them better when he plays third base. Does that mean never playing Vientos, who got hot for them a couple of weeks ago for a few weeks? I think that there's this question going forward because, again, if you decide to go long with Alonso, and this is a question in the offseason, if you decide, like, he'll do 4 years, whatever the number is, there is going to be a moment during that where both Alonso and Soto should probably be the DH. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like to your point, Mike, we've seen a lot of, like, the Luke Weaver, Giancarlo Stanton, Gleyber, where you're like, well, the Yankees would be better off today if they were allowed to play 5 DHs. And that's not a great model. And I know it's not the model that the Mets front office, the baseball guys really want, but you're locked into Soto. You're married to Soto now for 15 years. He enters as a poor defensive player. It's never going to get much better than that.
Now, you look at the Mets, and Joel and I spoke yesterday at the stadium. We weren't on the air, and we both agreed the Mets are going to get through this weekend and probably get to the postseason. And it's hard to predict a best of 3. But, Joel, how would they beat the Dodgers in a best of 3 where the Dodgers are going to throw you Ohtani and Snell? And who are the Mets going to throw? I just don't like that matchup for them.
Yeah, you know, the one thing I would say is in recent times, in 2022, the Phillies were a 6th seed and got to the World Series. In 2023, the Diamondbacks were an 84-win 6th seed and got to the World Series. If you'd like Mets history, the 1973 Mets won 82 games and got to Game 7 of the World Series. You know, stuff happens over 3-game series. The Dodgers will be overwhelming favorites because their starting pitching in the top of their lineup is so dynamic. They're playing the games at home. The Mets are in a scramble. But the Dodger bullpen has been in shambles pretty much this entire season. Yep. It's going to be fascinating. You know, Yamamoto, Snell, and Ohtani are going to be the starters. Are the main relievers going to be Kershaw, Sasaki, Glasnow, and Sheehan, who are starting pitchers because they've simply lost faith in Tanner Scott and Blake Trinan, and I think Kirby H just went on the IL, so I'm not sure he's in play here. Like, they're veteran guys who they spent a lot of money on in the offseason. All 3 of those guys I just mentioned were free agents. They've pitched to a combined over 5 ERA, those 3 guys, in like about 140 total outings. So I do think it will be interesting. Who does Dave Roberts deploy when a starter has to come out? That will be the way to beat the Dodgers, is if those guys aren't equipped to do this or the other guys continue to fail. Stuff happens. You know, the Mets are beaten by the Brewers last year until the last second, and then they advance because Alonso hits a homer, and then suddenly are on a ride, and they beat the Phillies, and they push the Dodgers. Stuff happens in the postseason. Mike, you watch. Nobody watches the Yankees probably as much as you. You know this. Like, these Yankees feel like they could get, if they don't win the division, they could get somehow lose 2 or 3 in the first round, and you could convince me they get a parade. Like, I just think I think the teams are closer together than ever before and more randomized than ever.
All right, so the Yankees, let's say they don't overtake the Blue Jays, and I'm not saying that that's not going to happen over the weekend, but let's say they get in as a wild card. I just had a caller ask me this, so let me ask you. Is there a team that you want to avoid in that best of 3? Is there a team that scares you if you're the Yankees?
Yeah, I think the best team kind of like 1 to 20 in the American League, besides the Yankees, is Seattle, and I don't think that they could play them, right, because Seattle's a division winner. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's the team. And if the Yankees don't win, I think maybe the second best equipped team is Toronto, though their starting pitching is in shambles and their bullpen has real questions. I think that the Yankees, just because of the historic perspective and the fact that Alex Cora gets underneath their skin so much, like, they'll have to have a moment where they stand up to the Red Sox here, as they kind of did up in Fenway, right, and figure out how to win 2 out of 3. But as like hot as the Guardians are, the Guardians, do you know they have the lowest OPS plus of any team in the American League? Yeah. Like you talk about things that don't make sense. The Guardians lost their closer, Clase, and Luis Ortiz at about midseason to this gambling probe. Their former ace, Shane Bieber, never threw a pitch for them before they traded him at the deadline. They have like 3 players who have batted regularly who have over 100 OPS plus. and they are the hottest team in September. Will that starting pitching shut down the Yankees at Yankee Stadium? I don't know, but like last year, one of the reasons the Yankees got to the World Series is they put two AL Central teams in front of them. You get who you get. There's no whatever. Like, that was the situation. I think if the Yankees get this version of Cleveland and Detroit, they'd probably say, okay, we'll sign up for that and see if we could get through, because I still think they have something over the AL Central team.
Yeah, you know what? We're in lockstep. The teams that scare me would be the Red Sox and Seattle. Seattle with starting pitching, and the Red Sox with Crochet, and I think they have enough, and they might get back Roman Anthony. And as you said, historically, they've gotten under the Yankee skin. So I think those are the two you want to play in a longer series, because then you let it play out and let it breathe, and the best will prevail. But I think it's going to be a fascinating weekend. I thank you for giving me all this time, Joel. Maybe I'll see you at the ballpark this weekend. Otherwise, have a great couple of days.
Yeah, and look, Mike, you said nice things at the top. Nobody, when John and I do our podcast, there's a lot of times at the last second we're like, who the hell are we getting for the show this week? And every time we turn to Michael K, it doesn't take more than 10 seconds to say yes. So you're a good friend in general, and you're a good friend in the business, Mike. So thank you so much.
You got it. Have a great weekend, Joel. Thank you. That's Joel Sherman of the New York Post. So great stuff from him. And now we have to, we'll wait till Sunday, or if you have the Post online and Post Plus, you could find out who he picked as the MVP. I'm trying to figure out the way he was talking, who he picked. I mean, he was so good at the way he laid it out. I'm not quite certain which way he leaned. I know that his colleague at the Post, John Heyman, in the paper today said he picks Raleigh, and it's razor thin. And then Joel, the one thing that made me think maybe he's picking Raleigh is that he said the Perdomo thing about WAR, because Perdomo has the best WAR in the National League. Would he be the MVP? No, he wouldn't. So he's not putting an accent on that. But then he came back and said OPS plus, where Judge has an over 200 OPS plus, which is just isn't done. So I'm not sure which way he's. If I had a guess, I think he's leaning Raleigh. That's a guess, but I would not bet a dime on it because I'm just not certain. ESPN New York is now streaming on YouTube. I've told you this, right? Catch all your favorite shows, DiPietro and Rothenberg, Barton Carlin, Michael K. Show, and Don Hahn and Rosenberg with live video every weekday. It's fun. You can see me right now. I look terrific. A beautiful pinstripe suit, a pink tie with white stripes, and a white shirt. Really a delight. And obviously you can consume the show and hear what we're saying, and all of our guests are saying as well. Watch, chat, join the conversation only on YouTube. So subscribe to ESPN New York on YouTube today and never, ever, ever miss a moment. You've heard what Joel had to say. You hear what I've been saying for the first hour and a half. Now it's time for the co-host, and then, of course, two-pack for sure. I give you two picks in the NFL. Last week, I was 2-0. That's right, I'll say it again. I was 2-0. So if you follow me, you made some money. It's the K-Show right here on ESPN New York.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey Yankees fans, hit your next adventure out of the park and onto the water with City Cruises New York. Sail your way to epic skyline views, delicious dining, and premium drinks. Upgrade your game day with a dining cruise, a cocktail sail, or a night with your favorite entertainers aboard City Cruises Live. Whether you're celebrating a win or just the weekend, City Cruises is a shipload of fun. Proud partner of the New York Yankees. Book today at citycruises.com/New York.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
Shop great new offers at Bay Ridge Mazda. Lease the 2025 Mazda CX-5S for as low as $239 per month or finance for 2.9% APR for 36 months. They will take any trade-in and accept all lease returns, even if you didn't lease with them. Plus, enjoy Bay Ridge Plus benefits like ding and dent coverage, key replacement, windshield protection, and roadside assistance, all included. Visit them in Brooklyn or online at BayRidgeMazda.com. Bay Ridge Mazda, where confidence comes standard. See dealer for details.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600-plus miles of range. Is it the driver behind the wheel? What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. That's 562-314-4603.
All right, so let me remind you, Saturday, October 4th at Sports Illustrated Stadium, the New York Red Bulls take on FC Cincinnati with kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. Start your match day early on the Boulevard. See what I did? Red Bull Boulevard at 4:30 p.m. Enjoy pregame activations, giveaways, and live performances. Then at 5:45 p.m., catch the Red Bulls on the red carpet. Gates open at 6 p.m., where the first 10,000 fans get a reversible Red Bulls bucket hat. Pretty cool. For your chance to win a family 4-pack, enter now through the ESPN New York app. Just click the contest tile and submit your entry. Bring the crew and secure your seats at NewYorkRedBulls.com. Plan ahead and travel smart. Now, the Harrison Path Station is closed Saturday, October 4th, but don't despair. Free shuttles will run from Journal Square to the stadium. All right, we'll make our picks, and we'll break down the Giants and the Chargers upcoming on Sunday as well. That'll be toward the end of the hour. Right now, I want to talk to you. Let's go to Joe in Bergen County. Hello, Joe.
What's up, Mr. K? How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm well.
Good.
I know you have a disdain or dislike for golf, but did you happen to see the homage that Golf Channel paid to you and former voices of New York sports yesterday?
No, I did not. What'd they do?
I'm not sure you're familiar with Rich Lerner, but they did an homage to the Voices of New York, obviously considering the Ryder Cups here.
Right.
And they went all the way back to Mel Allen and Rizzuto, all the way up to modern times, and he had you in there and had a see you. And I know my buddy sent it to you on X. He sent the whole 2 minutes video, but not sure you saw it. But I'm going to have him resend it to you.
That's cool. That's very. I'm humbled and honored. Thank you, Joe.
Maybe now you'll give golf its due, but I hear you. I know you're tongue in cheek with it, but
no, I'll tell you what. I don't dislike watching golf, especially the majors. I just I can't bring myself to play it. First of all, I wouldn't be good at it. And to be that bad and to continue to go out, and everybody said, well, that's part of golf. Well, to me, that would be aggravating. But I could see its appeal. I'm not like Don. Don said, if they played the Masters in his backyard, he would call the police. I'm not like that. I mean, I was enthralled when McIlroy won the Masters. I just thought it was unbelievably great theater. But would I drive out to Bethpage Black at 3 in? No. Again, I don't know if there's anything that I could think of that it would make me get up and drive that far to go to something other than like a kid's event, one of my kids' events. Let's go to Greg in the truck. Greg.
Hey, Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm great. How about you, Greg?
Mostly spectacular, my friend. Mostly spectacular.
I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two things. One, I want to back you up on something here. One is, I remember I called in around the beginning of the season saying that I thought Soto was going to be Lindor 2.0 when he first came to the Mets. You made your comment about when he went to the Yankees, and you were 100% right. I don't know why Mets fans or the small group find anything wrong with that. You were on the money with that.
No, he's been great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And two, it feels to me like the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Reds are playing a game of hot potato with this final wild card spot. If the Mets don't get in, and I'm praying they do, I'm a big Met fan. If they don't get in, outside of Stearns and Mendoza, do you see anyone possibly losing a job over it, or what do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that they might rejigger the roster. I think if they don't get in, I don't know if they bring back Pete Alonso because it's going to cost close to $40 million for 4 years. I don't know if they do. I think the only reason they brought him back this year is the fans' affinity for him and the home run that he hit off Devin Williams, which led them to the 6th game of the NLCS. And I'm glad they did bring him back because I think they'd be in worse shape now without him. But you heard what Joel Sherman and I was just talking about. The Mets' defense is not good. So if you sign Alonso for 4 years and then you've got Soto for another 14 and he's not a good outfielder. I know he finished third in the Gold Glove last year, but he's just not a plus defender. You've got weakness on the corners defensively. You've got an aging shortstop. And I just don't think that's the way that Stearns wants to roll. I think that was all a Cohen thing. Now, maybe he'll step in again because the fans love him. The fans love Pete, and they should. He hits home runs. He's clutch. But do you want him as a 35, 36-year-old first baseman? That might be a change, and I think they might have to, rethink some pitching decisions as well. But in terms of like Mendoza getting fired or Stearns, I think Mendoza would just be a scapegoat. This is a flawed roster with bad pitching in the bullpen and starting. I mean, what do you want a manager to do? I mean, what can a manager do? Let's go to Morty in Plainview. Morty, what's up?
Michael?
Hello, Morty.
How are you?
Haven't heard from you in a while. You doing well?
I'm doing well, thank God.
Good.
Very interesting listen and very interesting exchange between you and Sherman. But I am going on record. I'm willing to buy you your favorite chicken parm dinner and a bottle of red wine if Sherman went with Judge. No way is that going to happen.
So you think it's Raleigh just by listening to him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I don't discount the fact that Aaron Judge wears the Yankee uniform. Okay, but that's just me, my bias, and I admit to it. But I will ask you a question. I haven't checked lately, but the last time I did, I noticed that Raleigh was having an incredible year. You can't fault it. The man hit 60 home runs. I noticed that he has walked, give or take, 55 times. I noticed that Aaron Judge has been walked 120. Every time I look up, like last night, I see the opposing manager wiggling 4 fingers. That's 70 at-bats. That's better than a tenth of a season. Does that not factor in? And my next and last question to you is this. How much credence do we give to the MVP award insofar as a defensive player is concerned? I can't count on one hand the number of players who've been awarded the MVP because of their defense. It just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen in my opinion.
It's a great point, Morty. It's an excellent point. It's more of a it's more of an offensive award. Bobby Witt is a tremendous shortstop. I think he's going to finish third in the American League. But I think catching has a different feel to it, Morty. I just think that when you look at a catcher, he's running the whole show. He's playing a very tough position where you're beaten up constantly. So I think they probably will give some more credence to that. I mean, look at Yogi, right? If you went by WAR, Yogi didn't have near the WAR in those years, and they didn't even calculate it, but they've calculated in retrospect when he won the 3 MVPs. But they looked at a catcher who hit home runs and got big hits and things like that. I think catching might be the only one that gets you consideration defensively, and I think that defense probably could be the tiebreaker if, in fact, players are close in the offensive statistics. But when people are putting so much emphasis on Raleigh's catching, and they should, nobody cares that Ohtani didn't play 1 inning in the field last year and didn't pitch. So he won totally on offense. Now he had a stupendous, otherworldly year, but obviously that's what happened. That was not a big deal for Ohtani. So, why should the fact that Judge had a DH for a while because of the injury impact him negatively? But again, each voter has their own things that they emphasize. I think it's going to be extraordinarily close. But Morty did bring up one point that's fascinating. Raleigh doesn't get walked, which I don't get. Maybe it'll happen in the postseason where they'll pitch around him. But, they've got a pretty good offense now with the trades that they made, with Naylor and Suarez and all that. So maybe they don't want to pitch to those guys either. Maybe they think there's holes in Raleigh's swing because if you think about it, he is hitting, 240? So you get him out 76% of the time. That's why they don't walk him. Judge is hitting 330. You can only get him out 67% of the time if you don't walk him. And also, if you take Judge's 120 walks and just take it down to 50, the same as Raleigh, and I'm not exactly sure Raleigh's number, let's say that gives Judge 70 more times that he doesn't have a chance to hit a home run. And since he's a guy who hits a home run like once every 11 at-bats, that's 7 more home runs for him. All of a sudden, he has 58 to Raleigh's 60. Just playing a game there, you certainly can't even, bank on that kind of stuff. You're just having fun with it. Let's go to Billy in the truck. Billy.
Hey, Michael. How you doing?
Good, Billy. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Ironically, I'm on my way to Citi Field right now for a delivery, and I'm delivering trash carts. So I had a nice little laugh when I saw the paperwork for that.
All right.
But I didn't get a chance to hear your comments or if you talked about it. But what Springer said earlier in the week after that foul ball. Oh well, they just if they want New York to win, then just say that already. Like if that's their attitude, I think the Yankees got this. If it's in their head like that, that it's not a good look. I want to hear what you've got to say about that.
I would agree totally. Once you get in somebody's head, you've kind of won half the battle. I did address it the other day just briefly. I will tell you this. I think he's being paranoid. I think George Springer, to me, this year is top 6 in MVP voting. That's the type of year he's had. It's been a renaissance season for him. He's been unbelievable. But to think that the league wants the Yankees to win, it's foolish. I've told you this before. You know, when the Yankees get to the World Series, the ratings aren't that great. It's great in New York, but the rest of the country doesn't like New York. One of the lowest rated World Series of all time was 2000, Yankees-Mets Subway Series, and we couldn't get enough of it here in New York. The rest of the country said, "Nah, I'm good." And if Major League Baseball has rigged it for the Yankees to win, what kind of horror scriptwriter did they hire to say, "Yeah, let's have the Yankees just hit the skids for 51 games where they're 20 and 50 and 31, and then we'll have them 5 games out with about a week to go. Then we'll put everything in motion." I just don't believe in conspiracy theories. I don't, because you've got to give me a reason. You got to give me a reason. What's the reason? Why do they want the Yankees to finish first? Yankees are in the playoffs, so there's no way that they're rigging it for the Yankees to win the division. Why? That makes no sense at all. Now, if you want to rig it and get a New York market in the playoffs, okay, then we could talk about, there being a reason for the rigging. But they don't benefit at all by the Yankees winning the division. And a matter of fact, they benefit more if they get in as a wild card. Get the Yankees for another series if the Yankees end up going all the way. If the Yankees win the division, they sit out until Saturday. That's not great for baseball if you think they're rigging for the Yankees. I'm sorry. Guy went to UConn. He's from Connecticut. Seems like a great guy. He also seems like a guy who's extraordinarily paranoid. And as our caller said, I think it was Billy, if that's what they think, then you've won more than half the battle. So they think the world is against them and it's all fixed. I think it's silly. Silly. Conspiracy theories means that everybody that's involved is going to keep their mouth shut. People can't keep their mouth shut ever. Check out social media. Everybody's got an opinion like ever. It's like having a butt. Everybody has an opinion, and they think that everybody in the world wants to hear it. So when you put a conspiracy theory like that together, how many people have to have their fingers in it, and all of a sudden they're all going to shut up for the rest of all time? Stop, George, really. A reminder for everyone playing ESPN New York Survivor. Make your picks before Sunday's 1 o'clock games. After 3 weeks, we've lost 1,888 players, including Don LaGreca and Chris Carlin. I'm still in it. So that leaves 1,227 still eligible for the $5,000 grand prize. Follow along on the ESPN New York app, powered by SplashSports.com. Now, I want you to go to the app to find out my pick. But I've made my pick already. I feel confident about it, hoping to survive through week 4. All right, we'll come back. We've got the 2-pack for sure, my 2 NFL picks, and I'll give you my take on the Giants, and we'll wait until Monday because the Jets are playing on Monday to break down that game. It's the K-Show right here on ESPN New York. Right now at Bay Ridge Honda, your EV countdown to $7,500 in savings ends September 30th. Hurry in, the clock is ticking. You can get a Prologue Touring for $179 per month with 0 down during the EV Countdown sales event. Plus, receive thousands in benefits and savings with their Bay Ridge Plus Advantage plan. Upfront pricing, total peace of mind. Visit BayRidgeHonda.com. 36 months lease, 10,000 miles per year, 3,300 loyalty or conquest, and $7,500 EV credit as down payment.
The ESPN New York Couchcast is coming, and things are heating up.
We genuinely really get along with each other.
I don't even think Peter watches sports. You could make the argument that Rick doesn't get enough credit for being a low-key fraud.
Carlin's going to be at this Couchcast, too, so we got to make sure we have a lot of cannolis.
The ESPN New York Couchcast is Monday night, September 29th. See it all unfold on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Brought to you by the All-American Ford Auto Group, Calandra's Bakery, and Jacob's Pickles.
Schweppes, the iconic ginger ale of New York, is proud to sponsor the PGA of America. Schweppes has a deep lineup of ginger flavors, including raspberry, white peach, dry grape, and also available in 0 sugar. With every sip of Schweppes, the dedication to quality, excellence, and the art of tastefulness will leave you feeling simply refreshed. It's a hole-in-one for all your drinking occasions. Schweppes, a sparkling tradition since 1783, and the perfect way to elevate your summer. Swing by your local ShopRite and grab some Schweppes.
You matter, and so does your well-being. If you're facing tough moments, struggling with anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, or substance use, help is here anytime you need it. Call, text, or chat 988 for free confidential support. New Jersey's 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here 24/7 for you or someone you love, with trained counselors who listen and care without judgment. You matter. Remember New Jersey's 988. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
You know so much about who you are. But do you know what makes your body your body? With over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help you know the truth. Because you know you're made of grit, wit, and a good heart. But just how healthy is that heart? You know you're made up of all the places you've called home. You know you're made of your mom's sarcasm. And now you can find out if you have her thyroid too. You know you're made of college all-nighters and 30s early-nighters, but those still don't explain your sleep issues. You know that you're made up of good meals with even better conversation. But are you actually absorbing those nutrients? A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Well, to hit a home run, everything's got to line up perfectly, just like when you find the person you want to marry. When it's time to propose, well, do what I did. Visit the engagement experts at London Jewelers. From their beautiful 2 by London collection to custom designs for any budget, they make finding the perfect ring easy. Visit London Jewelers at any of their 6 locations and tell them I sent you for the Michael K. treatment. London Jewelers, getting it just right. Ah, yes. You know the music. It's time for 2-pack, for sure. I make my 2 NFL picks. Now, I started off slowly at 0-2. The second week, I was 1-1. So I'm, finding my bearings. Last week, 2-0. I gave you money. It's like I printed money and sent it to you. 3-3 so far, first 3 weeks. I'm going to give you 2 winners today. Did a lot of work on this. A lot of work. Here we go. So the Eagles are in Tampa Bay, and they're 3.5-point favorites over the Bucs. The Bucs almost lost to the Jets. The Eagles with a thrilling come-from-behind victory against the Rams. Now, it's going to be hot in Tampa on Sunday. It's like 91, 92 degrees. And I think that the Eagles' offensive line is going to wear down the Bucs. 3.5 seems like an awful, awful low number. And I think that the Eagles win this one by 10. I think they'll be able to stop Baker Mayfield enough. Jalen Hurts will do enough to get points on the board. And Saquon will have himself a day. So give me the Eagles, giving the Bucs 3.5. That's one of my 2-pack for sure. And this ties into the first game too. Rams are home against the Colts. Colts are 3-0. The Rams, though, are just 3.5-point favorites over the Colts. I look at the Rams and I go, listen, this is a team that was good enough to go 26-7 ahead of the Eagles. And then they ended up losing in dramatic fashion. So, I think they're going to be red hot. And I think they're going to get after Daniel Jones, and he's going to have his first sniff of adversity. Will the Rams blow him out? I don't think they'll blow him out. But 7, 9 points? Yeah, I think they're going to win by that much. So, again, my 2-pack for sure. Give me the Eagles giving 3.5 in Tampa Bay against the Bucs. That's actually in Tampa. And in L.A., give me the Rams giving 3.5 to the Colts for the second of the 2-pack for sure. Now, here in New York, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on the Giant game. So we have the beginning of the Jackson Dart era. But we have a Chargers team that is really, really stout defensively. Outstanding. Giants are 6.5-point underdogs. And although I want to see Dart do well, what has shown you that the Giants are going to do a good job, both defensively and offensively? Now, the quarterback's different, but they've been unimaginative with Russell Wilson behind center. Maybe they'll be more imaginative with Dart behind center. But let's take a look at all the different iterations of the Giants. Do you know that since they won that playoff game in Minnesota, Brian Daboll's team is 9-28. And Brian Daboll, as a Giant head coach, is 18-35. 18-35. His offense, the last 3 years, or the first 3 years of his coaching tenure with the Giants, they finished 27th, 31st, and 30th in points scored. Jackson Dart's going to cure all of that. And remember, the Chargers are a good team. So if you want to hang your hat, a tough travel slate for the Chargers, well, okay. But teams get through that. I think Harbaugh will be able to motivate them, and I think Herbert is developing into one of the best quarterbacks in the game. So if I had to make a pick, there's not part of the 2-pack for sure. I'm going to take the Chargers and think they beat the Giants by 7, by more than 7. So I read in the Post today that people are hiring planes to fly over Giant Stadium with banners. And it's funny, the guy who owns the plane company said he would never fly a banner that said "Fire Dable." He thinks that's too much. But he would accept a banner that said "Sell the team, Mr. Mara." He didn't say that's what the banner would be, but you'd accept that, but you wouldn't accept "Fire the coach." You'd accept people telling a guy whose family has owned the Giants since 1925 that he has to sell the team, but you would not accept "Fire Dable." Okay, that's interesting. But the most interesting thing to me about this, so for 20 to 30 minutes of flying the plane over MetLife, cost $2,000. My question to all of you, anybody that might rent this plane, has been done before, you think it has any impact whatsoever? You think that impacts Mara at all, or Tish? I mean, it might not make them feel good. You think it urges them to do anything? You know what stops them from doing something? Empty seats. Or a stadium that's filled with the other team's fans. I'm just saying that there's got to be something better to do with your money with $2,000 than renting a plane and flying a banner over the stadium. I just don't think it moves the needle, and you're wasting money. $2,000 is a lot of money. A lot of money. Finish it up with some phone calls. Eric in Stamford. Eric. Hello, Eric. Is Eric gone? I guess so. Let's go to John in Florida. John.
Hey, Michael. How you doing? I totally enjoy your broadcast with O'Neill and Girardi. I'm a longtime Yankee fan. First game 1965, so I got a little perspective. I just wanted to share with you real quickly. I think there's a contradiction with this Judge versus Cal Raleigh comparison. If you go to the National League, everybody thinks that Ohtani's a slam dunk. Actually, why isn't Kyle Schwarber more in the mix of that conversation? Because you look at Schwarber's numbers, he's only got a couple less home runs. He's got more RBIs. Batting average is similar. And Ohtani is far behind Judge statistically. So I think there's a little bit of a contradiction that Ohtani's kind of getting the crown, almost preemptively.
Well, I mean, what might help Ohtani a little bit, John, is that he has pitched a little bit in the last month or so. Last time out he threw 5 innings, so he's doing something that Schwarber doesn't do. Schwarber's essentially exclusively a DH. So I think it's going to be close, but I think Ohtani will. I mean, it's funny. I think people have Judge fatigue, but for some reason there's no Ohtani fatigue. They're just fascinated with Ohtani and the unicorn that he is. They just are. So I don't think that the familiarity is going to hurt Ohtani. I think it could hurt Judge. What a great week. 10 hours of piping hot sports talk. Each day, the 2 hours just fly by. I love you guys for listening, and you gals too. It means a lot to me that you're spending 2 hours of your day with me. Let's do it again on Monday, starting at 1 o'clock. Coming up, stay tuned for Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. And in the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll have a lot of baseball to talk about Monday at 1. Hey, shop great new offers at Bay Ridge Mazda. Lease the 2025 Mazda CX-5S for as low as $239 per month or finance for 2.9% APR for 36 months. They will take any trade-in and accept all lease returns, even if you didn't lease with them. Plus, enjoy Bay Ridge Plus benefits like ding and dent coverage, key replacement, windshield protection, and roadside assistance, all included. Visit them in Brooklyn or online at BayRidgeMazda.com. Bay Ridge Mazda, where confidence comes standard. See dealer for details.
Hi, former New York Giant Leonard Marshall here. Please join